On this episode of All of It, with your host, Hobley the Historian, we're going all the way to the East Coast, and we're going to wind up here in the great state of Virginia, the Commonwealth, if you will. Today, we're talking about the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, but he was way more than just a president. Born in April of 1743 and passed away on July the 4th, Independence Day, 1826, 50 years after the Declaration of Independence had been ratified. Thomas was a student of science and history. He was also born into the Virginia planters class, which means his family had a whole bunch of land and they relied heavily on slaves. He owned several slaves throughout his life. We'll get to that later on as we go. Let's get it out the way now. That's really the only negative that Thomas Jefferson really has. There might be one or two other things, but that's about all. Along with science and history, he loved literature. He had 3 libraries. He started 3 libraries, one of them when he was a kid. There she is, the love of his life, Martha Jefferson. And when I say the love of his life, when I tell you the last thing about him, makes The Notebook nothing. You know the movie The Notebook? It's nothing compared to the love story with them. All right, so they were married for about 10 years, had 6 kids. In 1773, Martha's father, he passed away, inheriting them 11,000 acres and 135 more slaves and a mountain of debt. Martha passed away in 1782. He was right by her side all the way to the very end. When Thomas took the helm, America was $83 million in debt already. He was a 2-term back-to-back president. The major achievement was the Louisiana Purchase, which they nailed down and finalized all while he was in there. The land would partially make up 15 states. Listen to this list: Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, North and South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, parts of New Mexico, Texas, and Louisiana. He left the White House in 1804 after holding pretty much every position you can have in the United States government early on. The last thing he did, this is the amazing thing, he started the University of Virginia in 1819. He worked with the state legislator and got the charter. Then he worked with another man and secured the financing to get the land. He was the designer of the buildings because my man was all about architecture. He was the first rector of the university until it opened in 1825. I'm assuming that's like overseer, dean. He also bequeathed one of his libraries that had over 2,000 volumes. He bequeathed that to the University of Virginia. Last thing we got to talk about, Monticello. That was Thomas Jefferson's home that his parents had left him. The original 5,000 acres that he had. He's entombed there. He's still there to this day. Now for the heartbreaker. When he passed and they were doing the autopsy and taking his clothes off, and he had a gold chain with a locket and a heart-shaped locket. And inside there was a lock of Martha's hair with a blue ribbon tied around it. Now remember, she had passed away in 1782. This was 1824. The movie The Notebook has nothing on this love story. Thomas Jefferson. Also, thank you to one of our followers, John. Thank you for recommending Thomas Jefferson. I learned a whole bunch. Thank you so much for watching this episode of All of It and listening to your host, Hobley the Historian.